Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the lovely people of the Five. We here at Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, and by we I mean me. Um, I like good comedy. My mom has a curious behavior that she doesn't like certain comedians very much. They just annoy her. She doesn't. They're just ew. It's too much. I don't like it. She gets very granny about it. I don't. And then we sit down and watch one of those people's movies, and she's laughing all the way through it. And I'm like, okay. And so we like comedy even that we don't like, and that's why the Five is such a gift, especially when on one side of the table they have. If Greg Kelly is the most miserable man on the internet, Greg Gutfeld is the most unfunny man on the internet. And that's saying a lot because we do Jimmy Dore clips here too. At least Greg doesn't pretend to be a professional comedian. Judge Janine, I think there's egg on the face of Merrick Garland, FBI, and DOJ. No, that would be blood because they've been attacked. Stupid. All right. Anyways, the Five is here to teach us all a valuable lesson about the FBI, Merrick Garland, and DOJ, and this all fell apart so fast. Oh, hold on.
Former President Trump turning the tables on the media as Republicans ramp up the pressure to release more materials from the unprecedented FBI raid on his home.
I think this is supposed to be drama.
Press going into full.
By the way, I would like to, who is it? WFOR via CBS Palm Beach, Florida, August 8th. This is the footage that I was talking about on the day of, where you can really see that Mar-a-Lago is kind of a shithole. Because they're going to play this
full Russiagate mode while trying to disprove Trump's claim that the Bureau seized his passports. CBS anchor Norah O'Donnell tweeting, quote, according to a DOJ official, the FBI is not in possession of former President Trump's passports. Trump had accused the FBI of stealing his 3 passports during the search of his Mar-a-Lago home. The Orange Menace forced to correct the record, with his spokesman posting the email that backs him up, proving the agency removed his travel documents from Mar-a-Lago and would be returning them.
We have learned that the FBI agents seized 3 passports belonging to President Trump, 2 expired, and 1 being his active diplomatic passport. We are returning them, and they will be ready for pickup at WFO at 2 p.m. today. I'm traveling, but you can coordinate further with a copy. Yeah, nobody cares.
Them. The media is also ramping up their good versus evil game.
And I would say to our friends who are watching us today, vote as if your life depends on it, because it might. Kevin McCarthy threatened the possible next Speaker of the House if the Republicans win, threatened an Attorney General and said, you'd better lay off Trump or else there's going to be violence.
Are we going to survive this?
I don't know. The hopeful part of this is that America does have resilience, and we do.
By the way, Michael Beschloss was, and the reason he's being interviewed on this is because he and a group of other historians met with Biden, and he is the media. By the way, Michael Beschloss, he's a presidential historian, so he's the designated media spokesperson.
Do get over moments like this.
And remember how this raid was urgently needed to protect national security? Turns out Attorney General Merrick Garland sat on his butt and waited weeks to approve the search warrant. And we still don't know what the underlying evidence that was used to justify agents going through Melania's wardrobe. Right now, the DOJ recommends to keep that sealed. But a judge said a third.
Well, yeah, Trump wants it unsealed because he thinks the identity of the snitch is in it.
Thursday hearing to determine whether the public gets to see it or not. Senator Lindsey Graham says the American public needs transparency now.
Should we go through a list of things that Greg Gutfeld has said about Lindsey Graham over the last couple of years?
We need the affidavit. Show your cards. Merrick Garland.
No.
Garland can't have it both ways.
Yes, he can.
Can't give us the inventory, the warrant, without telling us why it was necessary. Without the affidavit.
I'm going to go with the leather box with the SCIF documents in it reason enough. And how about this? That Trump's lawyers lied to the government in June when they said, we have given you all the classified stuff. And then when they came back and got stuff, sure as shit, classified stuff.
David, we're flying blind in the dark, and the American people are going through too much pain.
Yes, I'm thank you for caring. I'm broken inside. Are you guys holding it up? Are you guys holding it together all right? Are you holding up under the strain of a former president keeping boxes of classified documents in a fucking storage room at his country club estate place that he rents out to foreign nationals? And but I know that's not what upsets you. What upsets you, of course, is that he's, someone bothered to ask for the stuff back. Or we've been through a lot of pain. It's a struggle, I know, and it's real.
Too much heartache on this.
It's heartache. It's heartache.
Endless effort to destroy Donald Trump.
Oh, it'll end.
Judge, welcome back.
Thank you.
You were missed.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you. I missed you too.
Aww.
And you and you and you. You I didn't miss because you weren't here when I left. I don't mean anything. Okay, let me tell you what I did.
Ouch. That's a good look, Janine. Just turn to the black guy and go, you I didn't miss.
Yeah. I won't even ask you a question. I'm just going to turn on the battery.
Let's remember who's going to be conducting this hearing on Thursday. It's the same judge who signed the warrant.
Right.
Okay? So you've got this judge who signed a warrant that apparently was messed up from the get-go.
Apparent to who?
And I'll tell you why.
Okay, please do. All right, we're breaking news right now. There is a reason why it was sketch from the get-go.
If it were a search warrant, and
if it were a search warrant, la da 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 da. Or sorry, it was a search and seizure warrant, actually.
They made a decision to go beyond a subpoena with a court order. There had to be some exigent circumstance.
Yes. Can I tell you what it is? Can I say it? Can I just say it? They already gave him a subpoena, and at the time when they gave him the subpoena, his attorneys signed a piece of paper that said, we've given you all the classified shit, and you said lock the room, and they said we will, and then you got 60 days worth of footage, and it showed people coming and going from the room where the classified shit was happening, and you had an inside informant saying, yeah, there's still that box of shit's still here. That's pretty much why. Tell us in your words, though, Judge.
There had to be some emergency.
No, it doesn't have to be an emergency. They just have to know that a crime is being committed and that they've got to intervene. It's not an emergency. Not all search warrants are based on an emergency.
Then we find out that Merrick Garland waited weeks before he actually made a...
It's because you can't say that Trump was in communication with them and then blame Merrick Garland for holding off on the warrant. That's the whole point. At some point, they stopped communicating. At some point, they got the footage and they went, oh, these fuckers are lying to us. They are lying.
Final decision on that. And then we find out that even before then, in June, the president was cooperating with the NARA people, the National Archives people, who sent him a thank you note for cooperating.
In February, before they knew he had more shit.
So with this,
they didn't send him the note in June.
Hearing, the judge has to...
As a matter of fact, they sent the note, and then somebody at the office went, guys, it's not all here.
Side look. We've got the American public has an interest in this.
Oh boy, do we.
But the Department of Justice is saying, no, we don't want you to release this affidavit.
Right, because the mole inside inside Mar-a-Lago and in Trump's inner circle is still feeding us really great stuff. And we worry that his Russian contacts who've been bragging on Russian television that he's their agent and that he's in trouble because of this might kill that person.
Basis for the warrant, because we think it will compromise whatever investigation we're doing.
Right, because there's an informant in there, who told them that, yeah, he said he gave you all the classified shit, but there's still a bunch of it here. And lo and behold, they show up with a search warrant, and fuck, wouldn't you know it? Not only is there classified stuff, there's classified and top secret and secure compartmentalized information. It's almost as if Trump's been lying for fucking a year and a half.
That it will cause harm to certain people if it's being released.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump will probably vapor lock when he finds out how many moles they have. Because let's be abundantly clear. Can I tell you something? And Janine, you might want to know this too. I'm not 100% convinced it's one person. I'm going to go with, just if you use journalistic standards, you're going to want 3. I'm going to go with, because he's a former president, what do you think? 5 people snitching on this bastard, and none of them know the others are snitching? And Trump doesn't, because if Trump figured one of them out, they might be able to get rid of that person. So better to have multiple sources, largely people that Trump doesn't even fucking recognize or see, from staff members to people in the Trump organization that they've already made a deal with. I'm going with 5. That's my guess. 5 eggs. That's right.
And that it doesn't serve a public interest, and that there is sensitive information, and they'll get a roadmap to where we're going. But on the other hand, I mean, considering all that is true, in my 30 years in law enforcement, I have never heard of a defendant, and remember, this is a criminal warrant based on a statute that is not a criminal statute. Right.
The Espionage Act that's a criminal. It has criminal penalties. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
National Archives record, and
it's not just the National Archives, dumb.
So what he's saying, the president of the ex-former president is saying, release it. I don't care what it says.
Well, no, he's saying release it because he wants to know who the fucking snitch is, dummy. And he thinks that's in the affidavit. And he wants it now so he can broom that person immediately, or start deriding them in the press, or chuck them out, or whatever. And by the way, not releasing it gives this person time to remove themselves from the circumstances to a safe distance from this collapsing empire.
I'm not worried about what it says. So this judge is in a box. The judge has...
No, he's not.
Has to say, hey, wait a minute. When we've got the defendant himself, who's not a party, the supposed wannabe defendant, he's not even a party. He's saying, let it all out. You know,
the supposed wannabe defendant. He wants to be a defendant in this. That's why he was keeping it, because he was just. It's just he wanted to know what it was like to be on that side of the law.
The judge then has to decide: was it a wholesale fishing expedition?
No.
Now he knows America's tuned into this.
That has no bearing on it at all.
They took passports. The media, based on...
And they gave them back because they were in a box. They took the boxes, dummy. They're supposed to take... And in the search warrant, it says you got to take the documents that are in the box and everything else that's in the box. What's in the box? 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 That's in the box. What's in the box? So stupid.
Nora O'Donnell saying, oh, they didn't take it. You know, it's like, we got a warrant, a legitimate warrant from a FISA court after we lied, after Christopher Steele did a dossier that Hillary Clinton paid for, but no worries.
Yeah, unrelated, stupid. Also, the lies that were on the FISA documents made it less likely for the warrant, for the search on Carter Page, the wiretap on him to continue.
Justice is still good with the FBI. And if you believe that, then you got a problem. But
you got a problem. Well, I do have a problem. It's that the former president might have been having viewing parties of national secrets in storage rooms at Mar-a-Lago.
In the end, this judge, I think, is going to make a decision that it's got to be released that they will only redact certain parts of it.
Yeah. Yes, namely the snitch, and therefore Trump's going to be all mad.
And I think there's egg on the face of Merrick Garland, the Department of Justice, and the FBI.
Yeah, nobody cares. Again, this sounds like a bunch of people who know John Wayne Gacy and are he did their dormers, he did some of the construction on their house. They used to go to his parties, and now all of a sudden people are digging in his crawl space, and they're like, "This, I don't buy it."
Yeah, enough to make a 10-egg omelet, Dana. You know, I didn't realize we're going.
God damn, was that a joke? These are so painful. Why am I still amazed? We've only done a few of these clips, so I mean, like, is it always like this? Fuck me.
We're gonna have Michael Beschloss in. How do you say his name?
I think that's right.
All right, whatever his name is. This is the same guy that tweeted the Rosenbergs execute, like they sold.
Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, don't question it. Just ride through it. Yeah, it's coming out perfectly. Just let me hear it. Just the flow.
Execute, like they sold. Sold secrets to Moscow, and they were executed. The inference being that Trump would be executed too. What right does he have?
A lot of
to make a historical reference.
The historians have been concerned for
Earthlings everywhere. Okay, we have a winner for this week's super villainess cosplay outfit. That's amazing. It's like a Pixar movie where the white crayon came alive and it is the bad guy in the movie. Honestly. You have that Black Knights.
For the last, is it 7 years now, about norms and institutions and the protection of the Constitution, et cetera. And I was just thinking about...
Yeah, and that was the problem. That's what took this so fucking long. That's why it took 16 months. Because they were like, all right, we'll give him, we don't want to upset, this is a lot. So we don't want to, let's not make a big stink out of it. Normally someone wouldn't do this, so we normally wouldn't have to react with these kind. Well, let's have another meeting. Let's write him a nice letter. Let's pick up the things that we can while we're there, and then we'll come back and we'll put a little time between. Normally, a president wouldn't do anything like this, so let's try and that's all this is. The only reason this shit took more than 3 weeks was because of all the political pressure that Trump puts on his entire maggot base, so that if they showed up and said, "No, we need your documents back," they'd have set fucking buildings on fire. I don't know.
When you were talking, Judge, the defendant is not even really a defendant yet, right?
Not yet.
No. So
I don't even know what you're complaining about. Technically, Mar-a-Lago is the defendant in this current situation. I mean, how do we know Trump had anything to do with getting it there? You know what I mean? How do we know Mar-a-Lago wasn't just always filled with secrets? And
we still believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Right, except when you're talking about the FBI and Merrick Garland, because they obviously planted evidence and they had no reason to do this warrant, and they're obviously, this is a criminal conspiracy against the former. Yes, totally. You just don't see any of this coming, do you? Is that how this works, Dana? The words come out of your mouth and you're like, where did that come from? Like a baby vomiting.
And that's in the Constitution. And we still believe that the burden is on the prosecution. So at this point, I don't understand how he could also say the norms of the country are at risk, but also tweet something that basically says Donald Trump is guilty of selling secrets to the Russians.
Yes.
I mean, given all of those things.
Yeah, I don't think he was saying he's guilty of it. The Rosenbergs were found guilty of it, and they were executed for it. The irony is that somehow Teflon Don, which the Russians have been complaining that they can't call him that anymore. Teflon done. Let's see if they. Let's see, news. Yeah. Here you go. This is recent. Putin world declares our agent Trump is irreversibly screwed. Yeah. So what's the difference between Donald Trump and a light bulb? Well, there's two things. One, a light bulb is bright, or at least has the potential for it. And two, you can unscrew a light bulb. Russians are being treated to a TV pity party marking the fall of Teflon Don, a nickname bestowed upon Donald Trump by Moscow's most prominent mouthpieces. Concerns are swirling within the Kremlin and splashing on the screens of Russia's tightly controlled state media. Moscow's grueling invasion of Ukraine and Washington's potential designation of Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism are on top of the list, but the upcoming U.S. elections are likewise causing some heart palpitations. Having recovered from their initial shock over the FBI search of Donald Trump's Florida estate, Russian experts and pundits started to dismiss it as much ado about nothing, albeit a convenient tale they could use to smear American democracy. Now they're singing a different tune. In the most recent broadcast for the state TV show Sunday Evening with Vladimir Solovyov, host Vladimir Solovyov, who could have... I never saw that coming. I'm very worried about our agent Trump. They found everything at Mar-a-Lago. They got packages of documents. In all seriousness, they say he should be executed as a person ready to hand off nuclear secrets to Russia. So this is, by the way, Dana Perino and the Five essentially line quoting the Russians right now. Just, I'm sure it's a coincidence.
That doesn't make sense. And I do wish that it's on the media side of things. I know you want to be first, but it's more important to be right. And the whole.
Oh, yeah. So what you're saying is none of you assholes should jump to conclusions that the FBI is planting shit. Are you fucking kidding me? She was just sitting next to Jesse Waters like 2 days ago, where he was running his, like, every possible conspiracy, every lumpy lie that Trump told, he was just like running through them just to see if any of them worked with the audience and just stacking them in this weird gish gallop. But now she's saying we should presume innocence. Yeah, even when it comes to fucking Merrick Garland and the FBI agents.
Whole passport thing just stirred the pot even further to make people less.
Oh, his shit was in the box. It was in the box. What's in the box? Oops. Oh, sorry. My bad. Back up. I hit the wrong button.
Former president.
Shut up. Where we go? There's Judge, and then the thing, and then there's Dana Perino. Okay.
Understand how he could also say the norms of the country are at risk, but also tweet something that basically says Donald Trump is guilty of selling secrets to the Russians.
Yes.
Saying that used to be an old norm.
Yeah. I mean, that given all of those things, that doesn't make sense. And I do wish that it's on the media side of things. I know you want to be first, but it's more important to be right. And the whole passport thing just stirred the pot even further to make people less convinced that this is on the up and up.
Yeah. Same with the nuke stuff. It's like people just it just sounds so much like Russian collusion, Joey. And the other thing, too.
You got to bring Joey into this. Now, I know Joey, who's on here, from the Boots campaign, which, if you don't know, the guy in the middle on this, and I haven't watched this clip, but the guy in the middle, he's on Fox fairly regularly, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, too? Anyways, lost both of his legs. He is a double amputee. He sometimes fills in on Fox and Friends, and occasionally he'll wear like shorts or something, and you can see both of his prosthetics. And apparently, a bunch of Fox viewers get all like grossed out by it. I have obviously my political differences with Joey, but the fact that the dude lost his legs for the country, puts him in a different category than the rest of these assholes.
You hear about why did they go into Melania's closet? There could be a really simple answer to that.
Oh, God. It's going to be a joke, isn't it? It's going to be written on a piece of paper. Fuck me. Here it comes.
maybe that's where the safe was. Why don't they say that? Or why aren't?
Why? Okay, so at least it wasn't a joke. No, the safe wasn't in there, dummy. You think he trusts Melania to put the safe in her closet?
They saying that?
I think I wouldn't acknowledge that either if I were them, because it's way too low-hanging fruit. It's fun. I mean, you see millions of Merrick Garland in, elaborate evening gowns now.
Yes.
Look at where we are as a country right now. Because of what happened at Mar-a-Lago, half the country, or at least the politically active charged right half, thinks President Trump is being persecuted unfairly once again.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he is. That is more about their mental state than reality. And quite frankly, Fox and Friends, I guess Steve Doocy aside, and the five in particular, certainly Tucker Carlson, definitely Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham, have all been contributing to those people feeling that way, regardless of the actual reality that's going on, regardless of the worth or content or the legality of anything that's happened over the last 2 weeks. That has nothing to do with how they fucking feel. They always felt that he was persecuted. And now this is just this is confirmation bias. This is just them absorbing more information that makes it like, see, I told you, it just keeps it up. It's not true, though.
And the other half of the country would just assume to have President Trump, I guess, executed for treason.
No, not quite. Joey, no, man. No. No. I would rather him live a long time in jail, just for the record, just to clarify. I'm against the death penalty, period. That's the one thing about the left, is that they might reference the fact that other people have been killed for the same shit this asshole's doing. Anyways, man, no, I am not calling for, and nor will I ever call for, violence or death against anybody over political reasons. Nope, I'm completely fine with him getting 3 hots in a cot and his health care taken care of it and getting time off for shit behavior.
Those are polar opposites. There's a lot of in between, but
yes, those are polar opposites. Most people are in between.
Why would the FBI, why would the Biden administration take steps to put us in this position today?
They didn't. Trump did. Trump put us in this position. This is Trump's fault. This is not the United States in this particular situation. The United States is the one that is being faulted. This is victim blaming. Why did America wear such a short skirt in front of Donald Trump? It's not really his fault.
It's not to say that Trump deserves special treatment.
That's exactly what everyone is saying.
I understand the argument that those documents probably belong to the United States government.
Probably.
And needed to find their way back there.
And he was holding on to them and keeping them in an unlocked room at Mar-a-Lago, a place that is not a private residence, that is available to rent for events, and membership can be bought for $200,000 fucking dollars. And there are plenty of foreign nationals that are members for that very reason, for access to him. I'm honestly, I think there are people who would be less freaked out if this shit was actually at Trump Tower. Because if it was in his apartment in Trump Tower, there would at least be the illusion that it was genuinely a private residence.
It sounds like they're negotiating on how to keep those things safe. Seems like they were in a really good agreement, a really good place.
And then he stopped responding and blew everything off. And then when they saw a video that they had requested, they noticed that people were coming and going from the room when they said no one would go in there. And his own lawyers fucking lied. They signed a piece of paper, said there's no more classified documents here. And sure as shit, what's in the boxes? What's in the box?
And then they said because of an FBI source and surveillance, they had reason to believe that those documents weren't as secure as they wanted them to
or were there when they were told they weren't there.
be. And that was the precipice of this raid. That's what caused it. And you take a step back, say
The precipice? The premise? The presupposition needed for the precipice? The cliff? The valley? The abyss? It was the abyss of the warrant.
Trump doesn't deserve special treatment.
Right. Just end there. Just go, that needs no qualifications.
But the American people don't deserve to be thrown into another polarizing situation where we sit.
I'm sorry. We're not being thrown into a polarizing situation by Merrick Garland and the Justice Department. This is Trump's fault. Trump did this. Trump is the asshole who took classified documents and kept them at a fucking wedding event space that he stays in part of the year. It's not his private residence. It's a fucking country club. He kept top secret documents in an unlocked room at a country club. The fuck is wrong with you guys? This isn't even close. This isn't even there. This isn't even worth arguing on the margins. Again, the simplest thing when this happens is he shows, he gets there. The first time they fucking show up, what you do as a decent fucking American, and I guarantee you, or even Joey here, if the National Archives, either one of us had been president, and the National Archives show up and go, hey, buddy, when you guys left, you left in a big hurry. And apparently 20 or some out of these boxes contain top secret stuff. And if it gets in the wind, it's dangerous. And plus, we don't, that's not cleared to be out of, secure compartmentalized information facilities. So the second they tell you that, guys, get it in there. All right, you guys need to bring a secure truck down here, or a Brinks truck, something. Gather all of it up. We're going to post 2 Secret Service guys outside the room. Today, come and get all of it. Give us an inventory, and then anything that we can have for the library or that's left over there, please return it to us as quickly as you can. We're not in a huge hurry because apparently, if in this analogy, since either I or Joey are Trump in this situation, our presidential library would be a fucking app or someplace on Meta. But the second this has happened, you just return the shit. No harm, no foul. You don't drag it on for months, say, oh yeah, it's safe. And then you find out it's not safe at all. And then when they go there again, they're like, can you put a real lock on this? And then you put a fucking padlock on the thing, and then prove to me they closed it. I don't buy it.
Sit around and have arguments where we could be having discussions where we sit.
Dude, you're on the 5. That's what the show's for.
Sit around and say, oh my God, the government's going after Trump yet again. Or we sit around and say, oh, Trump's trying to sell our nuclear secrets to the Soviets. I don't believe
there aren't any Soviets.
Either one of those are wholesale true. But you got a lot of reason for people to sit around and make those arguments now because of this, in my opinion, careless action.
Yes, careless action by Donald John Trump. For fuck's sake, we do know how all this stuff started, right? This is not because the National Archives are just being dicks.
Richard, what happens when you have a poorly made burrito? It falls apart when you're driving.
I don't know whether I'm upset that this is just so brutally fucking unfunny, or if I'm happy that these people on the rest of the panelists have to deal with this dickhead just throwing a monkey wrench in the conversation. Basically he's like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber walking out going, big gulps, huh? We'll see you later. That's the contribution. Fuck.
And I think that's what's happening here, that this narrative is falling apart as the media drives.
No, it's not. It's very serious, fuckwad.
And they don't know what to do. What are your thoughts besides agreeing wholeheartedly with me?
Well, I don't do that, and I don't eat burritos while I'm driving. But
I have this closed circuit camera footage of you doing that.
Do you?
Oh, God. Fucking hell. It's just awful. It's awful. Greg, it's so bad.
Yes, I do. I do.
Really?
We're going to be showing it in the B block.
Yeah.
Really? You got to consult my lawyers before you do that one. A couple things here.
It's like he's like, oh, he got a couple of good ones in on me.
Listen, I think there's a lot of media speculation on all sides, right? Both on the right and the left. People are trying to speculate were we in Melania's closet, were we not in Melania's closet? Everybody's trying to speculate what these 11 classified or confidential documents that were raided that were taken from Mar-a-Lago. I think we have to wait to see that.
11 boxes. Also, maybe 14. Possibly as high as 20.
Find out tomorrow we'll find out on the 18th when this judge has this hearing. I think we should release the affidavit. Normally, judges don't do that because you don't want to tarnish the reputation of the defendant, but because he wants it released, let's release and
No, it's not to tarnish it. Look, if you release the affidavit, A, he's going to know who the snitch is. That's what he thinks he's going to get. By the way, if they do release it, they're going to redact who that person is. But he's going to, he's going to have some sort of hunting party based on any details that they could possibly get. Okay, who was on what? Who would have access? Who'd be around in this? They're already doing it anyways. But at no point does he give a shit about his own reputation. He just wants to be able to attack details in it as being, witch hunt, hoax, and he's going to do that anyways. It will materially not change anything about his attack unless it makes him aware of who the person who tattled is.
let's get to the bottom of it. But with that being said, I think there's far too much speculation. And I also think that, when people are like, oh, this is a
little less conversation, a little more action. Sorry.
Faulty warrant. Think about the levels of clearance that this warrant had to go through. Not only was it signed off by Christopher Wray, who was appointed by Donald Trump to be the head of the FBI, but it was also signed off by Merrick Garland. And remember, he has decades on the federal bench. And progressives have knocked Merrick Garland for being too slow, too judicious, but that's what judges do. They're judicious. And so I think he's very judicious. And then on top of that, it went to a federal judge, and then the federal judge said, based on this information, based on this evidence, our own Jackie Heinrich reported that it's very likely that part of this evidence is somebody from his security detail. His Secret Service detail, sworn officers of the court, saw classified documents. They have a mandatory rule to report, and they reported that we saw those documents. Are they not officers of the court?
Could you imagine putting your life in the hands of someone who wants to rat you out over that?
Like, could you imagine, their job is to protect.
I want you to take a bullet for me.
Yeah, you know what?
And by the way, can you imagine putting your life in the hands of somebody who wants to rat you out like that? Fucker, they don't protect you. They protect the Constitution and the function of the country. If you die, it fucks with the country. If they had to like you to protect you, there's a bunch of presidents have been dead a long time ago.
If Merrick Garland is so judicious, how come he called parents domestic terrorists?
He didn't call parents domestic terrorists. I'm a fucking parent. Judge, I'm fairly certain you're a parent. He didn't call you a domestic terrorist. He said there were people threatening the lives of other parents, teachers, and faculty and principals at schools over these fucking maggot shouting fests that were going on at schools. And those people were calling in bomb threats, threatening to murder school officials. That's domestic terror because it is using violence for a political end. That's the definition of it, of terrorism, and it's domestic because it's fucking here.
Stick the FBI on them. I have a little trouble with that being judicious.
That's because it's not true, obviously. I mean, I have a little problem with your 9 DUIs. I don't know that they exist, but I'll just assume they do in the same way that Merrick Garland obviously called parents in general domestic terrorists.
All right. Me too. By the way, Melania's Closet sounds like a sitcom on Hallmark.
Oh, God. He wrote it down, didn't he? I can't. It's just, it aches. It's like you get a little, there's a pain. Okay, I'm better. For fuck's sake.
No, it sounds like a great place to shop.
Yeah, that is true.
It could
or
be
just hide.
Documents for who knows?
Or just hide. That's not creepy or anything.
All right.
I went on Brian Kill.
Oh, God. Brian, kill me. Dear God. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I go through these clips as they post them. That was their idea. They thought that piece was like, that really sells Greg. That really sells the quality of our argument.